Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited as it's Monday. And hey, look, we've got Luke back. Luke's been out for the last couple of weeks, had some stuff come up and things happen and whatnot. Life happens. But yeah, we've got Luke back. Every time I do a Raw, or it's not every time, it's only been the last two, but I've done a Raw and a Dynamite, and they're like, where's Luke? Where's Luke? Where's Luke? Well, there's Luke. We got Luke back. Luke, how have you been, buddy?
Busy, I'll say that. It's the biggest perks of being a college student. You're constantly busy. It's my senior year, taking like 15 credit hours this semester. So just been busy with a lot of homework and stuff. Had some bad luck last week with my power, or not power, like Wi-Fi.
Well, I thought my power was going to go out today. My power did go out for like 3 minutes during Raw. And I was like, I was like, threw Raw up on my phone. I was like, I can still watch. And then like 3-4 minutes, internet was back, power's back on, everything. So I was like, okay, we're good. So I thought my power
froze. My TV froze during Raw.
Dang.
Tonight, and I had to like hurry up and switch to my laptop.
But as far as Raw does go, I can't speak right now. Again, I thought tonight was another good, easy to watch show by WWE. Wouldn't call it great by any means. I wouldn't say that they put on a great show or anything, but I would say a really good, easy to watch WWE show. And Raw's going to get even easier to watch, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't heard the news, Monday Night Raw, at least from October 7th till December 30th, is going back to 2 hours. WWE did officially announce that tonight, that while they remain on the USA Network, so not for the month of September, but starting October 7th through the end of the year, Raw will go back to 2 hours. Now, I know I'm going to get the question. What about for Netflix? Are they going to stay 2 hours? Are they going to go 3 hours? That we don't fully know. At least I don't know, because I haven't seen if maybe someone reported on that, if it is or not. But from what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing anything as far as, let me see this, Mike Johnson of PWU Insider. Okay, so Mike Johnson of PWU Insider did write, there's no word yet if it will return to 3 hours once added to Netflix. So once they move to Netflix. So as of right now, we do not know what the plan is once they go to Netflix. Are they going to keep Raw at the 2 hours, or are they going to go back to the 3? Honestly, I think that might dictate on what Netflix wants, and we don't know. We don't know what Netflix wants, because people have already talked about, hey, when they go to Netflix, could they switch to 2 hours? Is that something Netflix would want? It's USA that wanted the third hour. USA offered more money for the third hour, and WWE ain't going to say no to more money. So what are your thoughts on Raw going back to 2 hours? And do you think it should stay 2 hours once they do the move to Netflix in January?
All I'm going to say is it's going to feel really weird with them going back to 2 hours, because they've been on 3 hours for so long.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, actually. I thought Raw was always meant for 3 hours, since their roster is a lot bigger than SmackDown's roster. Because, like, for example, like SmackDown's roster I feel like is perfect for like a 2 hour show. Raw's roster, their roster is bigger than the SmackDown roster.
And see, that's not to cut you off, but that's the thing they've been doing with the draft. They did that purposely. Raw's got the extra hour. Raw gets a few more extra draft picks. And they've been doing Raw's 3 hour show since July of 2012. So it's not like Raw was always a 3 hour show. It's only been a 3 hour show for the last 12 years. So they can revert back to a 2 hour show in January, or now, I guess you would say. I mean, there's already how many people that don't get used every week anyway, so it's not going to make that big of a difference. Plus, we see so many people get thrown down to NXT. Like, shit, Pete Dunne worked tonight in a number one contenders match, and then tomorrow he's going to Florida to work another number one contenders match in NXT. So it's not like if anybody's not getting used on Raw, they can't send them to NXT for a week or 2 or 3. So they can find stuff for people to do.
I feel like they should do that with like another wrestler on Raw.
Who?
I'm trying to think.
Because, like the Good Brothers go down there and they work NXT periodically. We've seen Michin.
They always do that. Michin sometimes, but she has been doing a lot of SmackDown stuff lately.
Chelsea Green fighting Julia tomorrow. That's going to be an interesting one. And I said this over the weekend when this match got announced, Julia versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is probably the perfect, and I mean perfect person in WWE to have Julia's first match because she knows that style. She's worked Stardom and the women in Japan and all that. So for everyone that says, oh, Julia might be too stiff of a worker for these WWE chicks, well, they've got a WWE chick that's worked that style, that knows how Julia. I don't think Chelsea's ever worked Julia per se, but she knows that hard Japanese women's wrestling style. So I think putting Chelsea Green in there with Julia is actually a phenomenal decision because Chelsea Green's amazing. Chelsea can work with anybody. And she, again, knows the style that Julia's coming from. So that should be a very fun, interesting match. Now, Julia kind of botched it up a little last week when she tried to give her that knee and missed by like a mile. So we'll see how it goes. I just hope she doesn't become another Kenta. You know what happened with Kenta, right?
Had bad injury luck.
Well, that, and he goes to WWE. They change his name to Hideo Itami, and then he gets in his brain, I need to work a WWE style. I can't work the same style I did in Japan, which is that super hard hitting style. And it screwed him up to where he tried to work the WWE style and he just didn't do it well. And that's, some say that's why he was getting hurt so much, because he was trying to do things a different way than he's used to. And just, it didn't work out right for him. So hopefully Julia doesn't do the same thing and change her style and her way of wrestling too much to where it hinders her. But we'll see. We will see.
My biggest question is when are they going to bring in the other women that they signed, like Stephanie Vicure?
So Stephanie Vicure is working on a, I want to say, passport issue. She needs to get, it's either her passport or her visa needs to get finalized and finished up before she can work in the United States. Hence why she only worked those 2 shows in Mexico. She was allowed to work in Mexico with WWE. She hasn't yet, as far as, and I was told this a week and a half ago. So as far as a week and a half ago, I haven't gotten an update since, but as far as a week and a half ago, it was either a visa or a passport issue that was hindering her from getting to the United States for working with WWE. So we have to wait on that. And then Delta, I don't know what's going on with her. And then apparently,
I don't really know much about Delta. I'm being completely honest.
Me neither. And then apparently WWE may have eyes on a few other women in Marigold that they may try to sign early next year or at the end of this year. So I think, was it Bozilla? I think her name is. She's like a big, beefy, like jacked woman that apparently is doing really well. I saw one of her matches. It was a 4-way, the first Marigold show. She was in there with Sari, Julia, and I can't remember the 4th person. And she looked really impressive. But what were you going to say?
You know what I'm waiting for?
Who?
The day that WWE signs Jordan Grace.
Oh. You know, the interesting thing, somehow she got TNA to take months off of her deal. So it ends earlier next year than it was supposed to.
Wait, when is it? Do you know like which month next year?
Give me a second. Hold on. Give me a second.
Dude, I am like waiting for that day that she signs. She's gonna do great.
She'll be on NXT tomorrow. She's doing the open challenge for the Knockouts title. Let me see. Jordan Grace's contract is up in January. Don't know if it's beginning or end, but her contract is up in January. Originally, I think it was supposed to be up in like May or June, but she got like 4 or 5 months taken off. And so, yeah, her contract's up sometime this January. I don't know if that means January 1st, January 31st, January 12th. I don't know. But what I can confirm, Jordan Grace's contract with TNA is up January 2025.
If WWE signs her,
oh, they will. They'll try their hardest. Trust me.
If they sign her, game over. It is game over.
Now here's the question: do you start her in NXT or do you send her straight to Raw or SmackDown? Because I'm going to say right now, she's main roster ready.
She's main roster ready, but you can sign her. Then she can show up on NXT, be like, I'm officially like to this. Starting today, I'm a WWE superstar, and then have her win the NXT Women's Championship.
I mean,
because technically, she's like Like, I signed here because I have unfinished business because I want to win the NXT Women's Championship because I failed last time.
True. I think that more depends on who the champ is at the time. I think by January, I don't think it'll be Roxanne. I think Roxanne loses the title to Julia and then goes to the main roster. So,
I mean, Julia can take the loss to Jordan Grace. I mean, you can keep Julia in NXT for a while, even though she loses the women's championship.
So you're saying bring her in and immediately put the belt on her?
I want to go, don't do that. Just like build her up more.
Right. Well, I mean, do you have to? Who knows how often they're going to use her from now till January on NXT because they have that TNA relationship. Again, she's going to be on the show tomorrow defending the TNA Knockouts title. So it's not like
Wendy Chu.
Oh, is it Wendy Chu?
I know on TNA, like they had the spot where like she was laying on the floor with a pillow next to her, and they had Rosemary like in the crowd.
I want to say that was separate though, because she also last Thursday did an open challenge on TNA. But tomorrow's open challenge is supposed to be different, I believe. If it's Wendy Chu, that's very, very disappointing. But
who is it going to be? Like, who else would you say?
I mean, screw it. You want shock and awe? Natty's back. Give me Natty versus Jordan Grace for the Knockouts title tomorrow on NXT. First hour, commercial free. I think.
When's Cora Jade actually coming back?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because what if it was Cora Jade?
I know she ain't ready now. No, she's not ready now. Because she got injured in April. So May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. She ain't coming back till at least January, February, maybe January. Because usually it's nine months for the ACL. Charlotte, she's been gone since December. Not expected back till end of October, November. More of November. So.
Well, whatever happened to her? I forgot what happened to her.
Charlotte Flair?
Yeah.
ACL injury. Last match she worked was a match with Asuka. I don't remember the match. I don't even know if it was televised. But let me see.
Might have been a live event.
Charlotte Flair cage match. Her last match was, I know it was against Asuka because I've looked it up a couple times. It was a SmackDown. It was a SmackDown tribute to the troops. It was a tribute to the troops show. Friday Night SmackDown tribute to the troops, 2023, December 8th. It was a match where she lost to Asuka. So, unfortunate, but she's supposed to come back in November, and then the working plan is for her to go straight after the women's title and Nia Jackson do Queen versus Queen. She'll have to face Tiffany Stratton first. She'll beat Tiffany Stratton to then lead into getting that match against Nia. That's the working plan that people are reporting and hearing backstage. Not anything confirmed, but that's just ideas pitched around. But with that, I do want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, head over to YouTube, help us out over there. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, if you want to support in another way, you can do so by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. Doing so is greatly, greatly appreciated, even if it's just at the $1 tier, whether that's here on YouTube or patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Also, remember on YouTube to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming the free games are getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting that new Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. maybe, just maybe, you're getting that brand new Rugrats Adventures in Gameland coming out this week. You can either buy it on the Epic Game Store on the 10th or wait till the 12th and get it for free. Either way, put in our code PWU and LIMITED at checkout on all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases to support us at no extra cost. But with all of that, we got a Monday Night Raw to talk about. The show comes on the air. We see Drew McIntyre wearing a very cool Johnny Cash I Walk the Line t-shirt. Braun Breaker, Bianca Belair, Jordan Grace, Jade Cargill, and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn all coming into the building. Joe Tessitore then welcomes us to Monday Night Raw. Now, we didn't have you here last week to give your opinions. What do you think of Joe Tessitore? Now he's 2 weeks in doing WWE commentary.
He sounds a lot like Mauro Ranallo. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Mauro Ranallo, yeah. I get the comparison because the voice is kind of similar, the deep voice and whatnot.
I thought he did a pretty good job, honestly.
So I thought he was good last week. I thought there was a few things that, not that I felt like he had to work on, but things that he does in the other sports that he covers that wrestling fans aren't used to. Like when he wants to educate and give you stats, he says it in a normal speaking voice. Unlike when Michael Cole's giving you stats, he's still talking like this and super excited. But Joe knows, and maybe it's not Joe knows, but Joe comes from other sports where, hey, I'm giving stats and I'm going to talk to you like I'm talking to a friend. I'm not calling the action right now. So let's just have a friendly conversation and I'm going to maybe enlighten you and teach you something. So that's the one thing I saw people were like, why does this guy sometimes sound bored? It's not that he sounds bored. It's that he's just not super overhyped all the time like we are kind of used to with a lot of different wrestling commentators. But I thought he was as good as I thought he was last week. I thought he was even better this week. So, with that,
how do you feel about like him being next to Wade?
I think those two actually work. 2 weeks in, they seem like they've been working together for a very long time, which to me kind of seems like if they've been like practicing together, if they've been going down to the PC watching and calling matches or something, because they seem like two guys that have worked more than just 2 weeks together.
Probably. And like, who's on SmackDown? Michael Cole and Corey Graves?
Yeah, Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Which will be changing come January. Because come January, Raw's going back to Cole and McAfee. I don't know who takes SmackDown. Maybe it goes back to a 3-man booth on SmackDown and it's Wade, Corey, and Joe. But yeah, because Joe Tessitore is still calling college football. He was calling over this past weekend, so I don't know how long he's in for, what his status is past January, but should be interesting. Again, I thought he did a great job.
To return last year, Pat McAfee?
Well, Pat McAfee last year waited till all college football stuff was done. This year, they want him and Cole on that first Raw on Netflix. That's the thing. So he like basically waited. Yeah, McAfee waited till like all football was done. Because he was doing other things with ESPN, not just college football after football ended. And they were doing like special live streams and different things and whatnot. So yeah, that's the interesting part. Because he's coming back earlier than he has in the past. But with all of that, the show did kick off with a street fight. It was an 8-person mixed street fight, I guess you would call it. The Wyatt 6 versus American Made. So, here's my question. It was well, actually, no. Yeah, no. This was a handicap match, wasn't it? Am I wrong? Wasn't it more 4-on-5? Think about it. You had Gable, Ivy Nile, and the Creeds. But on the other side, you had Rowan, Gacy, Dexter, Nikki Cross, and then at the end, Uncle Howdy popped in the ring after he was just sitting in the rocking chair most of the match. So it's like, and then commentary just goes, well, it's a street fight, so this is legal. I mean, you're not wrong. There's no disqualification. What are they going to do? Disqualify the Wyatt 6? No. They didn't. Technically, they did nothing against the rules.
Nah, they really didn't.
Just kind of weird. Anyways, Nikki Cross and Ivy Nile started things off here, actually. First to go at it, and Nikki Cross just jumped Ivy Nile. Crazy start. Uncle Howdy watched at ringside, like I said, sitting in the rocking chair. They all took their masks off, and the match technically began. Cross cleared the announce table at one point, but Nile dropped her on it as Gable wildly attacked Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy with a kendo stick. Eric Rowan then no-sold the kendo stick shot and knocked down the male members of American Made. Nile then sprayed a fire extinguisher in Rowan's face, and the Creeds gave him a spine buster through a table. They buried him under some stuff, so he kind of was incapacitated for the time being. The crowd then initially popped for the table spot, but quickly booed American Made. They go, "Table! Oh, you're the bad guys. No, we can't like you. We can't like you."
That was funny.
It was, because they booed. They like the pop. You can hear the pop immediately just stop when they realize, we messed up. Because it's like, yeah, boo. Like, it was very noticeable. Anyways, American Made placed the trash can over Gacy and hammered at it with some kendo sticks. Nile looked under the ring for something, but found Cross, who knocked her over the announce table. Rowan then rose from under the debris and kicked down a section of the barricade and then used it to start knocking people out. This man's just walking around with the barricade, just blah, blah. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome," as Gacy and Loomis made a comeback. Loomis then drove Brutus through a table while with a diving leg drop off the apron. Gacy then wanted to put Gable through the table, but Gable met him on the turnbuckle and hit an angle slam through the table. Gable then put Gacy in an ankle lock as Ivy Nile hit Gacy with the kendo stick. Cross then yanked Nile out of the ring and gave Gable a German suplex, which Chad Gable sold this very well. And you can tell Nikki Cross didn't have to do anything but take a flat back bump off of this German suplex, because you can see Gable load his legs and spring himself up and back for the German. He did the whole thing. Nikki didn't have to do anything off of this. Chad Gable's amazing. Anyways, Nikki Cross then gave Nile a swinging neck breaker onto the pile of chairs. Gable then found himself face to face with, Uncle Howdy. But Rowan then ran him over with a tackle and slammed him on the steel steps. Uncle Howdy then finally got into the ring and dropped Gable on his head with his Sister Abigail. Loomis then came off the top rope with a big old splash and pinned him to pick up the victory. Correct me if I'm wrong. When Dexter Loomis be doing high spots like this? I don't remember ever seeing him doing those. Am I just not been paying attention?
He probably didn't do those mainly because like his gimmick was always like comedy for like the past few years.
True.
So maybe, and now he's like, kind of, I don't know about serious per se. Would it be serious?
Kinda.
Like a more serious like gimmick, like spooky, scary, maybe.
Right.
Kind of like this, like a big scary guy. Maybe the high spots kind of make sense.
I thought his splash looked perfect. So hey, more power to you. And I thought this was a great opener of the show. It went, I don't think I had a time for it. It went 16, almost 17 minutes. No commercial breaks in the middle. And so without those commercial breaks, this match felt damn near perfect as far as like what it was supposed to be. I wouldn't rate it any more than maybe like 3.5 stars, 4 stars, if maybe. Like, that's being generous. But for what this is supposed to be, a fun street fight to hype up this live crowd and get them going at the start of the show, it worked great. What'd you think?
Oh yeah, I thought it was a pretty fun opener.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I assume now that the Wyatt 6 stuff with American Made is most likely done.
Hopefully.
But now it's like, after this, what do you do with the Wyatt 6 now?
Yeah, that's the big question. Also,
What?
hold on. I need to look something up. Is this true in the live chat? Oh. Okay, I need to do some Google translating really fast. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna do.
Google,
I saw it.
Translate. Give me 1 second. uh, Oop, I spelled that wrong. So, Stephanie Vicur seems to be in Orlando. She posted on her Instagram, and I had to Google Translate this because I had no clue what it says. But it says, I am traveling from Orlando just to see her. I don't know who her is. Some female. She's got in her picture. Oh, she's traveling to Orlando to see a dentist. I don't know. But apparently she's either in or about to go to Orlando. I don't know, because then right after, then 20 minutes ago, she posted a photo that just looks like her in like an apartment. I don't know. And it's fully furnished. It doesn't look like a hotel or anything. Well, I don't know what's going on. And apparently Stephanie Vicur is in the States, is in Florida. Oh boy. We getting her soon in NXT? I don't know.
Maybe her on the St. Louis show, challenging for the North American title.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Have her beat Kalani Jordan. I like Kalani Jordan. I think Kalani Jordan is great. Kalani Jordan is too much of a... She's a gymnast, so they're giving her gymnast routines. Or gymnastic routines. If you notice this, her stuff is so planned out that it's to a fault planned out. To where she messes something up or something gets messed up, you could see her get lost for a moment. Because she's being trained to, hey, you're used to doing all these gymnastics routines, so we're going to make your matches like a routine. You're going to memorize the match, memorize the routine, and then, yeah. Also, we do have a bit donation from Esports Gaming Rules. He says, great Raw from the Saddle Dome. It's one of the last WWE events in the Saddle Dome. Bret Hart returns Johnny Hockey tribute, but by WWE, and everybody happy that Raw is back to 2 hours. So I don't know about, why would it be the last in the Saddle Dome? Or one of the last? Are they closing the Saddle Dome? I don't know. I am from Canada, Edmonton, Alberta. I don't know. Also, that deal they showed about the hockey players that died, or the hockey player, I sent the tweet going, this kind of teared me up. Goddamn Jackie Redmond. You know what I'm talking about, right? The little tribute they show where they went outside and showed all this stuff.
I didn't even know. I don't really watch hockey, so I didn't really know who they were. So
and that's why I'm bringing up. Let me read the tweet that I sent out, because it's actually kind of important that I give a little context here to what I tweeted. So I tweeted out, I love that WWE is showing this. So awesome to see, as they did not have to do this at all. I'm not a hockey fan, but Jackie Redmond out here making me tear up. Someone then comments and says, where is it? I'm trying to find the comment now. Did they delete their comment? Oh, looks like the person that I responded to. Oh, here we go. It says, not trying to be rude, but you don't need to be a hockey fan to feel this segment and sadness, especially being one of them. One of them had a pregnant wife. So I respond with saying not a hockey fan because I didn't even know about this story before the segment. I'll maybe watch a game or two of hockey every year, and that's about it. I couldn't tell you anything about any player or anything that's ever happened in hockey. So I had no knowledge of any of this prior to Raw tonight. I didn't know about this, the brothers and whatnot, and the tributes that they were doing. And yeah, again, I didn't know anything about this. And just the way Jackie Redmond presented this segment and the way she was getting choked up and emotional started making me a little emotional. Like, God dang. But
yeah,
like I said, I don't follow hockey. I saw something online about like a hockey player and his brother, or two hockey. I don't even know. Are they both hockey players? I don't know. I just know it's like there's one that plays for the Flames.
Both hockey players, okay. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and like they were killed and whatnot. But it's like, that's the most I would have known. Couldn't have told you their names. Couldn't have told you what team they played for. None of that, because I don't follow hockey. I have friends that watch hockey. So like, if the team they like is in the playoffs or playing or in champion, like last year I had a friend that was a Florida Panthers fan. So I watched like 3 games with him in the playoffs. 2 games. The playoffs, the championship at the end. And that's the most hockey I'm going to watch. I don't dislike hockey. It's not that. It's just hockey's not a sport that I picked to put on. So, yeah. Also, Esports Gaming Rules says Flames and their sister team are really a new arena. Gotcha. Okay. Doesn't mean WWE doesn't mean WWE still can't use the Saddle Dome.
Yeah, like you said, I don't really watch hockey. I mean, I have quite a few friends who are like St. Louis Blues and Chicago Blackhawks fans, so there's like big rivalries there.
Oh no, one of my closest friends is a huge Pittsburgh Penguins fan. So like back in the day, I'd see Penguins games when he'd put it on and stuff. But it's like, it's not one of my sports choice.
I tried to get into hockey because it actually like looks like a cool sport, but like I just couldn't get into it.
Exactly. Where are we? Oh, so even though the first hour is supposed to be commercial free, we still got WWE commercials because they had a Shop WWE commercial. And then they had another commercial about WWE Week on the USA Network. They then officially announced that Liv Morgan will be defending the WWE Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley at Bad Blood on October 5th from Atlanta, Georgia. We actually know 3 matches so far for that show. We may know 4. So Triple H keeps to his 5-6 match kind of format. Looks like most of this card is going to be a Raw card because we've already got 3 matches. So we already got the Hell in a Cell match from Raw. We got the Women's World Title match from Raw. We've got the Finn Balor Damian Priest match from Raw. I assume we're getting Sammy and Gunther from Raw. And then what? You got 2 SmackDown matches, make it a 6-match card, which then makes me think that Jey Uso Braun Breaker's not going to be at the pay-per-view. It could be. So then that's 5 matches from Raw. So yeah, I don't know exactly how this is going to shape out, but I think we know 4 Raw matches already on this card because I'm 99% sure Gunther Sammy's going to be at the pay-per-view. I doubt that's a Raw match.
Nah, you gotta put Sammy and Gunther on the pay-per-view.
Now, if we were coming up on like January 6th and it was the first Raw on the USA Network, Netflix, sure. Give me Gunther Sammy as the main event of the first Raw on Netflix instead of the pay-per-view. But we're not coming up to that for another, 4 months?
I'm trying to think of what SmackDown matches we would put on the pay-per-view. I assume Grills of Destiny versus maybe DIY.
Maybe. I don't even know about that though. That feels like a SmackDown match to me, to be honest. It feels like a TV match, not a pay-per-view match. Here's the question. Excuse me. Here's the question. What does Cody do? Because Cody's in the commercial. Yes, Cody is facing Solo Friday on SmackDown for the title in a cage. But you can tell me no Cody on the Atlanta pay-per-view. Mr. Atlanta? You gotta have a Cody match in Atlanta.
I'm trying to think, actually.
You can't have a show in the ATL, have Cody all over the commercial. Be the only wrestler in the commercial. Air those commercials for like 3 months, and then no Cody match.
I'm trying to think who on SmackDown he would defend the belt against. Solo.
I know who I want, but it ain't gonna happen right now. Like a Jacob Fatu. Give me Cody versus Jacob Fatu. I want that match so bad. It'll be so good.
What if it was a triple threat? Like Roman screws Solo over, and then
but how Roman gets in? How Roman gets in the cage? Because it's a cage match on Friday. Got to remember that.
They play the music, and then Solo's kind of like distracted.
But then why? Okay, but then why isn't the match Friday a triple threat then? Because they already had Roman screw Solo at SummerSlam.
Screw him again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just build it up more.
But then that wouldn't be a triple threat. That would just be Roman and Solo. I wouldn't put Cody in that. I think it would water it down. I think doing that as a triple threat for the title would kind of be watered down and make the title match seem irrelevant. The match being a title match would feel irrelevant. Because you're over. Go for it.
Well, if the lights go out and all of a sudden maybe like someone like a Roman or a Jimmy Uso comes out
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I do expect Roman to be on SmackDown this week. I mean, it's the first SmackDown back on USA, so why not?
I do think there's a good chance Roman does like screw Solo over. Then maybe what if they do like Solo's like, you know, Roman, if you want to get to me so bad, you're gonna have to get through like these guys first, starting with like Jacob Fatu.
Ooh, I don't for SmackDown matches.
No, Bad Blood.
Okay, because I was gonna say I don't want Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns to have commercials. I need that match uninterrupted. That should be so good.
Bad Blood, Bloodline Rules, maybe.
Very cool.
And that's when like Jimmy Uso probably returns. Because I think Jimmy Uso, he's good to go.
He's been. They're just waiting for storyline wise to be the right time. He's been fine.
I was just trying to figure out when they're going to bring in Talatonga.
At any time, he's ready to go. I think his deal was up the end of July. So
he's signed though, but like I don't know when they're going to bring him in.
But it's just like Jacob. They waited 3 months before Jacob showed up.
Well, I think the reason why was because they were worried he was going to like overshadow Solo.
Well, there was that, and they were still kind of unsure about him working international. So they kind of waited because they did like 4 or 3 big international shows in a row. That was the thing too. But talk about factions and groups. Judgment Day came out next. Now, do you remember the WrestleVotes tweet about Judgment Day may get a name change and the name change may be Street Trash?
I think I do remember seeing that.
Did you see what WWE Shop put out this morning?
Mm-hmm.
2 Street Trash t-shirts.
Street Trash.
Yep. I don't know if they're getting an official name change. 2 Street Trash t-shirts that did not say Judgment Day on them. So that's interesting. So Finn Balor enters the ring. Balor told Damian Priest that it didn't have to be this way. Priest told Balor he screwed him. But Priest screwed the Judgment Day first. Balor tried lifting Priest up while in Judgment Day, but Priest held him down, even though they were supposed to be brothers. Balor ensured Priest stayed champion, but Balor himself should have been champion first. Priest lurked around with that damn briefcase and screwed him when he got close to winning the title. Balor called out Priest. Priest would make his way out to the ring. Priest said that he has been trying to get his hands on Balor, but Balor keeps running. He would let Balor say what he wanted to say, then he's going to drop him on his ass. Balor said that he wasn't going to do what Priest said because he wasn't a sidekick. Finn Balor was nobody's sidekick. Balor said that Priest and Ripley would fall on the same night and challenged him to a match of Bad Blood. Priest accepted. Priest still wanted to beat him up, though, and do it right now. Balor reminded him of the old Judgment Day playbook. Priest didn't care and dropped him with a right hand anyways. Carlito JD McDonough then tried to attack, but he knocked them down. Dominic Mysterio then joined in, but Priest caught him too by the throat. The numbers though eventually did catch up to Damian Priest, and then Rhea Ripley would come out. Rhea Ripley is not good at fake limping with a crutch. I'm gonna tell you that right now. She's not good at fake limping with a crutch because that looked bad. And then eventually she starts attacking with the crutch, saying, "I'm not hurt anymore," this and that and whatnot. But she does get attacked from behind by Liv Morgan. You throw her into the ring. Ripley tried to attack Dom at one point with a crutch. Morgan chop blocked her. Crowd then starts chanting yeet because they want Jey Uso to come out. Judgment Day beat up Priest and Ripley. Priest then put his body over Rhea's body as Liv Morgan was about to beat her down with a crutch. Eventually they pulled Priest off, and then frickin' Dom went to town on Damian Priest, beating him, whipping him with this crutch hard. Like you could see like most of it was hitting the mat, but there were some of these shots that hit Priest, and Dom was wailing these shots off. They held down Priest.
Oh, yeah.
They held down Priest as Dominic was repeatedly hitting him with a crutch. Balor then went to the top for the coup de grace when Jey Uso would run out with a chair, and the Judgment Day ran away. Jey then stayed out there to check on both Damian and Rhea. Good segment, building up 2 matches. Plus, we know that Eventually, Jay and Damian should get a tag title shot as long as Judgment Day keeps the tag titles. We'll see how that all just play out. What'd you think of the segment?
Well, the segment was pretty good. I'm honestly curious to see if there's any more matches like the Damian Finn one will have like a stipulation.
I don't think so. I think if it was going to have a stipulation, they would have said that tonight, maybe. I mean, they could announce one next week. But I think it's Triple H, and I don't think he wants too many stip matches on one show, and he's already giving us Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, but like, I just feel like Bad Blood's kind of like the modern day. It's kind of like gonna be like the new, like Triple H's version of like Extreme Rules without calling it Extreme Rules.
I was kind of thinking that as well.
I feel like they at least add like one more like match with like a stipulation.
You're not wrong. I could see it maybe. But then what's the stip? Just a hardcore match? Street fight?
No holds barred, maybe.
Crutch on a pole match. Winner gets, whoever can go grab the crutch is allowed to use it to finish the match. I don't know. We haven't seen an on a pole match in WWE in a long time. I don't even remember when the last one was.
It did like contract on a pole.
Well, I mean,
back in 2014.
Right.
Winner gets to face Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell.
I remember that.
Loser gets to face Orton.
Well, remember they also did one. It was contract on a pole in Canada where Miz had gotten fired and then showed up the next week or 2 weeks later, I think it was, under a mask, and he was like the Calgary Kid. And then he got the contract, and then he pulls off the mask and goes, "It's me, the Miz. You didn't know it, but I just got me a contract. I'm signed here again." And everyone's like, "We knew it was you, Miz, dummy."
He did the skull crushing finale.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Remember when Bo Dallas was in NXT? They had him wear a mask, and he was called Mr. NXT.
Oh, I vaguely remember that. Like I remember like you saying it is jogging a memory, but yeah.
And then they did one with Elias back in the day. He wore a mask and he was called El Vagabundo.
Oh, I mean, you really want to go even farther back, Mr. America, Hulk Hogan. Everybody knew that was Hogan. But I'm not Hulk Hogan. I'm Mr. America, brother. He always threw in the brother. And I'm like, well, only Hulk Hogan says brother.
I don't think Hulk Hogan's really well liked right now.
No. Even though apparently he said he signed a 5-year contract with WWE. I assume it's a Legends deal, but still. He was on Logan Paul's podcast. It was like, yeah, I signed a new 5-year deal with WWE. I'm like, oh, well, okay then. Jackie Redmond's in the back. She interviews Braun Strowman. He admitted that he was still banged up from what Bronson Reed did to him a couple of weeks ago. Also, I didn't get your opinion on that. What do you think of Bronson Reed squashing Braun Strowman on top of a freaking car? Oh, that was amazing.
Dude, that was amazing. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that.
Well, yes, because we'd seen back in like 2004 time, that era, I mean, they would do the, especially I think they did one with Eddie Guerrero and John Cena. They did the parking lot brawl. And so we saw guys get slammed onto cars. And I think I'm vaguely remembering JBL powerbombing somebody on the top of the limo, which would be similar. But the Eddie Guerrero, John Cena parking lot brawl on SmackDown was really good. That was not 2004. That was 2003. Because they were fighting over the U.S. title.
Because before that Raw went on the air, Russell Rhodes tweeted there was going to be a huge spot with Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman. When I saw that tweet, I thought they were going to have the ring collapse.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea. But, I mean, we've seen that 4 times in WWE. Because we saw it the one time with Brock and Big Show. Then they did it with Big Show and Mark Henry. Then what? They did it with
Braun Strowman and Big Show.
That's what it was. I'm like, there's another Big Show one, but I couldn't remember who.
That was kind of recent, though. That was like 2018.
That's what I'm saying. It had to have been within the last 10 years, less than 10 years.
That was like 2018.
Yeah. So, Jackie Redmond, again, like I said, was interviewing Braun Strowman. So he's still feeling the effects from what Bronson Reed did to him. Said the match last week didn't help either. But He's a monster. You can't keep a monster down. And a wounded monster is actually more dangerous. And then I liked this. Braun Breaker was going to every guy in the four-way to be like, hey, I see you. Do you see me? You don't want to fight me. So he goes to Braun Strowman, and he agreed. Now you're a monster. But you don't have to be 6 foot whatever, 300-something pounds to be a monster, because this dog is going to come for you if you win later. This dog is the only reason you're still standing. Strowman then warned him that he didn't know who he was talking to. He said, Bronson, you don't know who you're talking to. Braun then helped Strowman and said that, you didn't see me around. And then he looks at him and goes, but good luck, big. And he looks at his shirt and goes, good luck later, big sob. That popped me a little bit. Big sob. Because, it says big S-O-B. So that got me.
Funny.
I like that one. And his delivery was perfect too. Because he's like, all right. And he looks down at the shirt and goes, big sob. Then we had almost tag title match. It was 6.5 minutes and it was just there to the point where I got like a paragraph of notes. That's it. I got like 5 sentences. 4. Nothing. It was just a 6.5 minute match for the tag titles. And it was a nothing burger. So Fire and Dawn gave Belair their double team move early on. And then they kind of just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're about 5 minutes into this match now. And they go for the cover on Belair at one point, and Jade breaks it up. Fire then super kicked Belair, but Cargill tagged herself in and booted Fire. Cargill and Belair gave Fire their DDT into a German combo suplex deal, and then just pinned her to pick up the win. It's a nothing happening match. Like, at all. Wasn't much to this. Placeholder. Yeah. Any thoughts?
Yeah, really nothing to it. Honestly, they're probably going to hold these tag titles for a while, my guess.
Good chance.
I don't know, I just really wish they would use Jade more as a singles wrestler.
I mean, there's a reason they don't really trust her much in singles action. Like, well, I don't know that for sure. I know when she first came in, they weren't going to trust her to do singles matches. And I don't know if that's changed. When you notice, Bianca does most of the match. Jade will come in, do her 3 or 4 moves, and then get back out or finish the match. So it's like they're still not really trusting Jade to do a lot. And at the same time, I haven't heard in a while of Jade training at the PC anymore. I know she does sometimes go to Cody's school because she's in Atlanta. But I don't know. I guess they just feel like her being on the road is training and enough. So we'll see. I do think that the stuff we see her do has gotten better since January. I will say that. Jackie Redmond interviewed the LWO, but they were quickly interrupted by Judgment Day. Ray called them the Addams family, and Balor issued a warning to Ray, called them wannabe thugs that ran from a real fight. Ray then told Balor to stop hiding behind his estupido son and fight him tonight instead. Balor said, I accept. Then they showed Bret Hart and said he's coming out next. We go to a break, and when we come back, Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett are in the ring. Tessitore then introduces Canada's own Bret the Hitman Hart. Huge ovation from Bret. Tessitore then tried to speak, but the crowd was chanting for Bret, so you couldn't hear him. Tessitore then finally told the Calgary fans that WWE will be returning to Canada for Survivor Series in Vancouver and announced that tickets will be going on sale next Friday, with the pre-sale going on sale Thursday. I don't know how close Vancouver and Edmonton are to each other. I think I saw somebody post like 600 miles. So it's like, oh. Barrett then asked Hart what it felt like to be back in WWE in Canada. Hart said that this was the place to be. No one took more pride in being a champion than him, and a Canadian champion at that. The Canadian champions don't back down from a challenge, and they prove it every night. And I'm sitting here going, all right, where's Gunther? And is Gunther about to beat his ass and then Sammy's going to make the save? I was half right. Because he's talking about challengers or champions not taking every challenge. So I'm like, oh, this is setting up Gunther and Sammy. He said that he did just that by being the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. This is when Gunther then came out. Crowd booed loudly for him. Hart was amused. Gunther called, this popped me so big. Gunther says, you know, Bret, you were one of my childhood heroes. Gunther called him the best there was, but now he is the best there is today and the best there ever will be going forward. Gunther then said, you know, you were my second favorite wrestler. A very close second to my favorite. And he looks right at the camera kind of and he just goes, Bill Goldberg. Popped me so hard, so big. Oh my Lord. Awesome shit there for a second. I couldn't help but laugh. Bret even got a smile on his face. And then this is when Sammy came out wearing a Calgary Flames jersey. We learned later that it is the one that did get killed. Johnny, I'm going to butcher this last name. Godria, I think is how you say it. Huge pop for Sammy. But yeah, the Goldberg line, I lost it. I was laughing so hard. It got me big.
Oh, yeah.
Because
people on Twitter were like,
Bret hates Goldberg.
Yeah, at first, I didn't understand the reference because, like, I'm not old or anything.
So, what the fuck are you talking about? You call me old?
No, I don't know much about that era.
So basically, Bret has always said that Goldberg went to super kick him, kicked him right in the face, and basically gave him a concussion that ended his career. And he always, since then, has said that Goldberg is selfish, Goldberg is unsafe, and Goldberg is a crappy pro wrestler. So, yeah. Basically,
sorry about the old comment.
It's fine. Anywho. I mean, to be honest, I know stuff from even farther back than before I was even born, but that's, yeah. Me just watching too much old stuff. Anywho. So Sammy comes down to the ring, and Gunther had a lot of nerve standing here in Calgary talking to Hart this way, which he was in Calgary, but I thought they were in Edmonton. Is it like the same? I don't know.
I don't know. Actually, I really don't.
Because like Sammy even said, you have a lot of nerve being here in Calgary talking to Bret Hart like that. And I'm like, I thought the show was in Edmonton. Anyways, I could be wrong. I don't know. Gunther shouldn't joke about Hart being a hero of his because Hart was a Canadian hero, a hero to all in Canada. He said he was a hero to everybody in this city and everybody in this country and to every wrestler in the back who still studies his matches to this day. Quote, and more importantly, he's a hero to me, Sammy says. Zayn said that Gunther may hold the title now, but Hart set the tone for what it meant to be a champion. Zayn then challenged Gunther to a title match once more, as he did last week. But Gunther again was like, yeah, no, you're not in my league. And Sammy's like, not in your league. I beat you at WrestleMania for the IC title. I'm the last person to beat you. So let me fight you for that title. And he's like, no, my answer's still no. And he gets out of the ring. Bret then said that Gunther didn't look like a champion. He looked more like a coward. A dirty, yellow, gutless coward. Gunther seemed a little offended. So he took his jacket off. Looked like he wanted to go after Bret. And then Sammy left the ring and got in Gunther's face. Zayn blocked a right hand shot and attacked Gunther. Zayn hammered away until officials broke it all up and Gunther left. Zayn and Hart then hugged it out in the ring. So, do you remember? I want to say this was the last time we saw Sammy and Bret Hart on a Raw together. Do you remember what happened?
Yes, Cena did the open challenge. Bret Hart came out and they introduced Sami Zayn to the main roster.
And then Sammy tore his rotator cuff by just throwing his arms up during his entrance. Like, what? You know, I think he still does it, but he used to do it even more back then, where he'd do his entrance, he'd go up on the steps, and then when his music would yell the "Let's go," he'd throw his arms up really hard. And he did it that time, like harder than normal. And he tore his rotator cuff, worked the entire match with an injured shoulder against John frickin' Cena.
That's crazy.
Yep. So I'm just sitting here going, oh no, Sammy, this is bad luck. Sammy. But luckily he seemed to be fine. Nothing happened. I was like, remember what happened last time? You got hurt and you didn't even do anything before getting hurt. So Braun approaches Pete backstage. Braun was about to call him Butch, but Pete told him, don't say it. He said, okay, Pete. He's like, Dunn said that he would win tonight and then smash Trick tomorrow and have 2 title matches coming his way and then become a double champion. Braun said, you can't be a double champion because you're never going to beat me. Braun mocked Dunn's shrug and smirk and said, if they did fight, Dunn would be doing a lot of shrugging and wondering what the hell had just happened to him. Braun then said, good luck. Then, old fella, Sheamus would come out of nowhere, beat down Dunn, clobber him with a big knee that sent him into a production box. Sheamus tried to attack with a shillelagh, but Dunn bailed and officials held Sheamus back. So, again, I really like the way they were doing this with everybody going to Braun, or Braun going to all the challengers and being like, hey, you might become number 1 contender, but don't think you're going to beat me. Then we had an 8.5-minute match. Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. Judgment Day and the LWO were at ringside. Not much to this match. Again, like I said, 8 minutes. I think it was the first time Dragon Lee's had a singles match since June, I think they said. He lost to Carlito in that match. I think he lost in this match. So Lee hit Dom with double foot stomp, but McDonough placed Dom's foot on the ropes to get the rope break. This led to a brawl between the two teams outside, and they fought to the back. The ref was distracted so Liv Morgan chop blocked Lee. Dom then followed this up with a 619 and a frog splash, while blowing a kiss to Liv during the frog splash, and picked up the victory. Dom defeats Dragon Lee, another win for the Judgment Day. What did you think of the match?
Wasn't bad. Kind of sucks for Dragon Lee, though. I mean, geez.
Right.
Like, geez, like when Dave Meltzer said, I don't like the way they're using Dragon Lee on the main roster, he wasn't kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, not the best.
I was kind of upset that they put him with the LWO.
That was like my thing with Andrade. I'm like, Andrade's back. Please don't put him with the LWO. Please don't put him with Legado. He did a little thing with them and then poof, went on his way. And I was hoping that would be Dragon Lee, but not the case.
Now, well, they got Carlito with the Judgment Day now, so now it's like,
dude, Carlito's living his best life, barely having to do anything and getting paid. Carlito takes like just one bump and says, cool. And that's it. I'm like, man, Carlito's got to be loving this.
Yeah, Carlito's like probably having the time of his life, doesn't have to do much.
Right, at his age.
Still in the spotlight.
Maybe working like a match or two a month and like on a Raw taking a easy as hell bump. Like,
wait, how old is Carlito?
He's got to be in his mid-40s. 45.
Yeah, his age.
Well, I don't know. He's younger than R-Truth.
Yeah, but R-Truth,
younger than Jericho.
I can move around a lot. Jericho, I mean, I don't know.
Jericho's 53. So, but yeah, no. Carlito's got a sweet gig with the Judgment Day right now. That position they put him in. Literally, we get that video. I want to say we haven't got to it yet. We get that video where like all the members of Judgment Day have a couple lines to say, and then they get to Carlito, and Carlito just goes, cool. And then it's over. I'm like, this freaking guy. Anyways, Io Sky and Kairi Sane approached Belair and Cargill backstage. Sky congratulated them on their win and told them not to get used to being champions for too long because they're coming. Also, Kairi Sane had a bandage over her eyebrow. Must be still messed up from last week because she got busted open. So this is where we got the Jackie Redmond hockey thing. Joe Tessitore talked about the tragic deaths of Johnny and Matthew, and I'm going to butcher their last names again. I apologize. Godre? Johnny, we know, did play for the Canadian Flames. I think they said 8 years he was with that team. Jackie Redmond was shown outside of the arena. The arena's exterior was covered in tributes to Johnny. Had jerseys and memorabilia and pictures and flowers and all that for him. I guess, what was it, today or yesterday they did like the memorial service. So very sad story. I had heard something about a hockey player and his brother, or 2 hockey player brothers were killed, but that was the extent of all I knew. And so when Jackie's doing this, and you could tell she's trying not to cry. Jackie Redmond, huge hockey person, works for NHL and does content on their networks and platforms and stuff. Like, hockey's big to her. And then when she's doing this, segment, and you could hear she's trying not to cry. I'm just like getting choked up myself, going like, oh my God, wow, this is horrific. This is bad. Wow. So, and WWE didn't have, like I said earlier, WWE didn't have to do this. WWE didn't even have to mention it. But they went further and not just mentioned it, but did a tribute basically to it and showing what the fans were doing as far as their part in tributing and paying tribute to him as well. So, yeah, this is great. I don't know whose idea it was to do it, whether it was Jackie Redmond, whether it was Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, Lee Fitting, I don't know. But whoever's idea it was, 2 thumbs up. Sonya Deville then interrupted Lyra Valkyria's entrance for the 6-woman tag coming up, called out their mystery partner, and I knew who this was a week ago. So last week, we had the segment where Zelina and Lyra were in the back, and Lyra's like, we got to do something about them. And Zelina goes, well, as long as it's 2-on-3, they're always going to have the advantage, and we're just going to always get taken down. And that's when Lyra goes, are we in Canada next week? And Zelina goes, yeah. And she goes, I got an idea. And I'm just sitting here going, Natty's coming back next week. And that's exactly what happened. Natty made her big return. We hadn't seen Natty since like June. This match went 7 minutes. 6-woman tag. Lyra Valkyria, Zelina Vega, Natalya against the Pure Fusion Collective. I thought that was going to be a name I wasn't going to remember. Right there on the top of my dome. Pure Fusion Collective. Not as wonky of a name to forget that I thought. Anyways.
No, because like I was listening to the theme song. I was like, who the heck is this?
Yeah,
I saw him walk out. I
wouldn't know by the music. But you'll know because their video, it says PFC. It flashes on the screen. PFC. Yeah. Like 3 different spots. Yeah.
I saw the P and I thought it was Pete Dunne.
Nope, his is red. Bruiserweight's got red graphics. Or maroon, something like that. I think they've changed it. Anyways. I want to say Lyra and Zoe started things off. Zelina gets tagged in at one point. Then there's a spot, I think leading to the break, where Zelina gets thrown to the outside and she takes a nasty tumble over the top rope to the floor. And then Zoe does a dive onto Zelina on the floor, where Zelina doesn't just catch her and take a bump. Zelina bounces off the floor and her head basketballed. I'm like, ooh, that looked bad. But at one point, Natty did make the hot tag after a commercial break and went for a sharpshooter on Starks. But Starks made it to the ropes, and her teammates also pulled her out of the ring. Vega and Valkyria then wiped them out, and Natty went for a sharpshooter again. DeVille and Baszler then tried to interfere, but Vega and DeVille also put them in, they put him in, what's the word I'm looking for, submissions as well. I think one had a Walls of Jericho, the other had basically Lance Storm's single-legged crab. Natty then locked in Starks with a sharpshooter, raked it in hard, and Zoe tapped. Crowd loved it, popped big. Baby faces get the big win. So it's like, oh, they're building up Pure Fusion Collective as like this monster group that eventually are going to like try to take over the division, and then Natty comes back and beats them. Whoopee! What'd you think?
Not bad. I mean, Natty's back. Cool.
Yeah. Good to see. I thought Natty looked great. We know, when you say, oh, she's been gone for like 2 or 3 months. Is she going to have ring rust, lose a step? No, she's at her gym training every day almost. You see on her Instagram multiple times a week, they've got a group of people training at her and TJ's little dungeon. So go backstage, and they're all celebrating before Bret would walk up. Natty said something about Bret, and Bret's like, no, this is your moment. This is all about you. And then it just cuts. Cool. Then out comes Drew McIntyre, and this got awkward on purpose, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. The crowd starts chanting for CM Punk, and Drew goes, yeah, let's do it. Chant his name, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. And the crowd keeps chanting. He goes, good, because you are now doing that simply in his memory, because I have ended his career, and he is never coming back. McIntyre said that Punk's words last week, poetic. Punk screwed him out of the title 3 times this year. McIntyre pinned him at SummerSlam, and Punk was an arrogant prick. And if he thought they were done, they ain't done. Because all you did was touch some corners. You didn't actually beat me. If you think touching corners means you beat me, you're wrong. McIntyre made Punk a bigger star ever since January because, well, he just kept talking about him. But now he's ended his career. So it was time for him to move on to the future. And what mattered the most is himself. First, he's going to go after the world title. One that he was screwed out of multiple times. Also, this week, he got his big motion picture debut. He's got a movie with old Dave Bautista coming out. He said, but next on the list, I've got a little bad news. And he's looking like over kind of like at the hard cam. And then he turns, he goes, for you, Wade. And I'm like, what the what? And he's like, he keeps going on about the friendship he has with Wade Barrett. McIntyre said, we were so close. We even got arrested together once. McIntyre then gets out of the ring, goes over to Wade Barrett, and says that you stopped me from doing things to CM Punk. And that ain't good. Barrett then started to stand up as Joe Testator's like, you don't have to do this. Wade, just sit down. You don't have to do this. And he said him on commentary while Michael Cole called him a hypocrite. And he did nothing to really defend Drew. McIntyre wondered why Barrett just stood there and did nothing. McIntyre said he wasn't angry this time, just disappointed. He said, but you get involved again, next time I'm going to be angry and I'm going to do something about it. Barrett then removed his headset and looked like maybe he was ready to do something about it when out would come Adam Pearce. Pearce quickly there to interrupt and said, Drew, get in the ring. We got to talk. Pearce didn't think that McIntyre actually wanted to fight his friend and told him to get back in the ring. I have a little information and an announcement to make that you're going to want to hear. McIntyre called Pearce nothing more than a corporate suit, the type of suit that Punk likes to kiss the ass of. Pearce said, speaking of Punk, I spoke to him earlier today, and he's not done with you either. McIntyre laughed. McIntyre didn't believe McIntyre didn't believe Pearce, but said, go on. McIntyre said that Pearce was signing Punk's death certificate if he was going to tell the truth. Pearce then thought that they were done and realized they weren't and said, we're going to end this once and for all. The finale, Bad Blood inside Hell in a Cell. Crowd lost their minds when he said Hell in a Cell. Popped huge. Drew got like a mad but also kind of like hell yeah look on his face. And then Wade Barrett said, you know, Drew McIntyre doesn't have the best of averages when it comes to Hell in a Cell matches. So, and I didn't look this up.
Last time Drew was in Hell in a Cell?
I was just about to say, I haven't looked up what Drew's last Hell in a Cell match was or how many he's actually even been in. Let me see really fast. Drew McIntyre cage match. So let's go matches. I think you can just type in Hell in a Cell here. Hell Cell. So his last Hell in a Cell match was Hell in a Cell 2021. He lost to Bobby Lashley with the WWE Championship on the line. Then Hell in a Cell 2020. He got beat by Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. 2018. No, that wasn't a Hell in a Cell match.
Wait, he lost to Randy for the WWE Championship?
Was that in the, this? It's not telling me if it was a Hell in a Cell match, but it says at Hell in a Cell in the Thunderdome, Randy Orton defeated Drew McIntyre for a title change at Hell in a Cell 2020. And then the next year, also in the Thunderdome, Bobby Lashley beat him with WWE title on the line to retain the title. I think those are both in the cell. I can tell you right now. Hold on. Hell in a Cell match against Bobby. We title Hell in a Cell match against Randy Orton. And then I think those are his only two. That was not a cell match. It was a dark match. Yeah, those are his only two cell matches. And he lost them both. One to Bobby Lashley and one to Randy Orton 2 years in a row. CM Punk, though, when it comes to Hell in a Cell matches. Let's see. CM Punk matches. Hell in a Cell. CM Punk defeated Paul Heyman and Ryback. I think that was a cell match.
That's when Brad Maddox did the low blow to Ryback.
Yeah, Hell in a Cell 2-on-1 handicap match. He won that one. And then, I clicked the wrong button. I'm clicking buttons. Hell in a Cell match. He beat Ryback. 2 years in a row, he faced Ryback in Hell in a Cell matches. Then I remember this one, 2011, the Del Rio John Cena triple threat inside the cell, where Del Rio won. And then Taker beat him in a cell in 2009 to win the World Heavyweight Championship. So, yeah. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 cell matches. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cell matches, yeah. Hold on, is this a Hell in a Cell match? Oh, it is not. 5, because one was a dark Hell in a Cell match. John Cena defeated Alberto Del Rio, CM Punk, Dolph Ziggler, and Jack Swagger at a Raw taping in 2011. They did a dark Hell in a Cell match. What the shit? How did I not know about that? Okay. Yeah, 5-way Hell in a Cell match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Esports Gaming Rules states, glad Bret Hart is back. So is Natalya. But does Martha Hart regret not helping TK and AEW sign Natalya? Natalya was never going to leave. That's the whole thing. I don't think Natalya was ever going to leave anyways. And Bret's not back. Pretty sure it was a one-night thing. And then he also says, the same question. Do you think Martha Hart regret trying to help TK and AEW sign Natty? Well, I mean, I'll be honest, I've heard stories that the family don't really talk to Martha. So I don't even know if that would have done any good or been anything anyways.
Why is it? Are they just mad that Martha? Are they just like mad at her or something?
No, I think she kind of just like once Owen passed away, from what I've heard stories, and who knows if this is true. Once Owen passed away, she kind of distanced herself from the family a little bit. She wanted to just be completely away from wrestling, wanted nothing to do with it.
Still kind of involved with it. But involved with it now.
Now, but you got to think like Owen passed away at 99.
Yeah,
and so that's 20 years before she did anything with AEW. 21, 22 years. So Karrion Kross spoke to The Miz. He's like, hey, I can help you get out of your rut. Xavier Woods comes up and he's like, hey, you trying to mess with this guy now, Miz? Miz don't need you. And Miz is like, no. Hey, Xavier Woods, he's right. I am in a rut that I kind of need to get out of. Woods tried to talk some sense into Miz. Miz is like, I appreciate it, but he's not wrong. So Miz then just leaves. Very weird. I don't know where the hell this is going. Kofi then approaches Woods, and he thought he was Bret Hart because he was wearing like a Bret Hart cosplay T-shirt and glasses or whatever. And then he goes, "Oh, Woods, what's up? Hey, I got some info to tell you. It's going to be like 10 years since we started the New Day, and And so because of it, I got us a tag title shot next week, which is like, oh, I thought we were going for singles belts, but hey, tag titles work too. Woods then said that this would be a great way to celebrate their 10th anniversary as the New Day. And then they did Bret's pose. Moving forward, we had Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor. It was an 8-minute match that ended in a disqualification. So Rey at one point hit a dive as we went to a break, like 90 seconds in, so nothing happened before that. Balor was in control after the break. Didn't tell us how. Rey made a comeback, and Balor caught the 619 attempt and applied a single leg crab between the ropes. And the ref's like counting them 3, 4, 5. Break the hold. Not break the hold. DQ, you lose. Because Finn wouldn't break the hold. Then Finn just kept on beating Rey's ass. They go to the apron at one point. He drop kicks Finn into the turnbuckle post. They then separate the two. They're checking on Rey. Finn goes to walk up the ramp. Then he runs back down the ramp and he sends Rey into the side of the ring. Drop kicks him right there. And then eventually leaves. Oh, it's whatever. What'd you think? Kind of meh.
Yeah, it was kind of just whatever.
So, moving forward, Ilya Dragunov told Jackie Redmond he had a chance at taking care of some unfinished business with Braun Breaker. Braun then interrupted, because he's got to see all 4 guys. He said that they did have some unfinished business, but he had no problem beating them again if he's going to have to. Jay then walked by, shot Braun a look. Cameron then followed him as he told him, hit my music, and he made his entrance. So technically, like, he never actually, Braun had that one-on-one interaction with Jay. Well, he literally kept them completely apart, which is kind of weird, but okay. They announced a couple things for next week. CM Punk will be on the show, and the tag titles will be on the line when Finn Balor and JD McDonough defend against the New Day. I assume the New Day win. What do you think? You think New Day? Not New Day. Judgment Day. Judgment Day. Day and day. We got the day versus the day. No night. Anyways. What do you think?
I'd say Judgment Day.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
Dude, the tag division on Raw has been very lackluster.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the NXT tag division's okay. I wouldn't say it's great or anything. SmackDown's good, but Raw has been lackluster.
Very true.
I mean, the SmackDown tag division's pretty good.
Speaking of the NXT tag division, weird, interesting thing going on here. So tomorrow, Axiom and Frazier were supposed to defend the titles against the Rascals, but they had Ava post a video tonight saying, due to unseen circumstances, the Rascals are no longer able to compete tomorrow. The tag titles will still be on the line. And I go, okay, so what team from that number 1 contenders match is going to get the shot? Or are we going to do like a number 1 contenders match at the start of the show and then the tag title match at the end of the show? And then she just goes, former 2-time NXT tag team champions and main roster tag team champions, the Street Profits, get a title shot. And I go, huh? How does that make any sense? Street Profits
makes no sense.
Randomly getting a title shot tomorrow on NXT against Axiom or Frazier. Match is going to be, oh my God, amazing. Those 4 guys are going to work so well together, but it's like, you literally did a number 1 contenders match. And now the other 2 teams in that triple threat number 1 contenders match are just out to lunch. Just say, fuck you guys, we don't care. Okay. Why the Street Profits though? Like, give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm going to look something up. Because, I mean, Street Profits did lose their last match. They lost to the Bloodline last week. I forget who got pinned on SmackDown, but it was the 8-man tag against the Bloodline. It was them and DIY against the Bloodline, and Bloodline won. But I don't remember who got pinned. I was going to say, if it was one of the Street Profits, fuck this match, but I can't. I think it might have been Ciampa. I can't remember, though. Might have been Ciampa. They got pinned. Esports Gaming Rule says, did WWE end the quote New Day / Final Testament story because of the firing of Odyssey Jones? See, we assume Odyssey Jones has been fired, but it's still not been 100% confirmed. So I don't know. Anyways, as far as I don't think they did end it because they're still kind of semi-playing it up. Because if you look at it, tonight, Karrion Kross is trying to get at Miz, and there's Woods. Hey, you don't trust that guy. Don't believe what that guy says. It's a lot of phooey. So I don't think it's completely over.
Well, Miz and the New Day taking on the Final Testament?
Maybe. Maybe. They need a third man because Jones is gone. Oh, Odyssey. What? Oh, don't. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Final Testament going to screw the New Day out of the tag titles next week?
Possible.
Hope not. I hope not. Moving forward at our main event, this match was great. Like I said, the show was good, but this match, main event, 4-way, Pete Dunne, Ilya Dragunov, Jey Uso, and Braun Strowman. I love this match. This match was so much fun to watch. Dunne tried manipulating Strowman's fingers early on. So Strowman just picked him up and chucked him out of the ring onto Jey and Dragunov. Great spot. Strowman then fought off everybody after a break, but Jey dodged a charge and went for a shoulder first into the ring post. They teamed up on Strowman, and a couple moments later, they drove him into the steel steps. Sorry, try not to burp right in the microphone. Dunne then shoved Jey into the ring post and went after Dragunov, but Dragunov fought him off. Dragunov then tried to go for the coast to coast, but Jey caught him in midair with a super kick to a near fall. Crowd then chanted "Yeet, yeet" as they went to another break. Second time within the first 9 minutes of this match. Match itself went. I did not get in time. Anyways, Dragunov then got the better of a strike exchange after the break with Jey and hit a clothesline, but then Dunne broke up the pin attempt. Dunne snapped Dragunov's fingers, but then Strowman knocked Dunne aside before running over all three men around ringside. Strowman then cleared the announce table, but Bronson Reed would then suddenly appear out of nowhere, jump off the barricade, and splash Braun through the table. Also, there's a spot I missed. So Pete Dunne was in the ring. I think it was with Dragunov, and he had him down. He was about to put him in some sort of submission, and Strowman from outside the ring just reaches in and grabs Pete Dunne by the neck, just chokes him. And the face Pete Dunne made was so great. He was just like, it was great. I forgot to write it down though in my notes. Anyways, Strowman gets put through the table by Bronson Reed. Crowd starts chanting, "Holy shit." This took Strowman out of the match. Dragunov and Jey then exchanged strikes. And here's my thing. So we know that this was supposed to be Bronson Reed in the match. So was it just a role reversal and Strowman was eventually going to take Reed out in the match? I would assume. And they just switched it up now. COVID only got old Bronson for 1 week. Anyways, Dragunov and Jey exchanged strikes again until Jey nailed a spear. Dunne then chucked Jey from the ring and tried to steal the pin, but Dragunov kicked out. The crowd then chanted, "This is awesome." Dunne stomped the fingers of Dragunov, kicked him in the head, and hit him repeatedly with forearms. Dragunov then countered Dunne's bitter end and hit a powerbomb and an H-bomb, but Jey broke up the cover and hit a super kick. Jey then hit Dunne with a splash and pinned him to pick up the win and become the number one contender, the Intercontinental Championship. Jey then celebrated, and then there's the champ, old Braun Breaker. And then as the two were coming in, Jey was about to say something to him, and then we're off. USA Network cuts it for some random reality show called The Anonymous. So what do you think of the main event? And it's going to be Jey versus Breaker, the IC title.
Main event was good, but I thought it was going to be Dragunov because they kept...
Oh, no.
What? You didn't want it to be Dragunov?
No, I didn't care if it was Dragunov. I would have liked that. But everyone knew it was going to be Jey Uso. I thought it was very obvious.
I mean, Jay's not going to win it, though.
No one was going to win it. Braun's not dropping the belt yet. I'd be shocked.
Trying to think how they'd play it out. Is someone going to screw Jey, or do you think Jey would lose clean?
I think he loses clean. I think Braun Breaker just beats him. And then they call it the biggest win of Braun's career over Jey Uso. Maybe the second biggest after winning the title, but still. I think he beats Jay clean, and they have just a hell of a match.
What if they had? Ooh, I got it. What if they had Braun beats Jay clean, and then maybe after the match he gets jumped by like the Wyatt Six, and he's like their next like rival.
I thought you were going to say the Bloodline, because they need to start building up, if they're going to do it, Bloodline versus Bloodline Survivor Series.
When is Survivor Series?
November. Tickets go on sale
Yeah,
Friday.
well, they got a little bit of time.
True.
They can just maybe like for the rest of the month of September and mid October, they could just do Jimmy versus Uncle Howdy, and they could beat him so bad he has to move to SmackDown.
I can see it. They kind of teased it. Not like hard or anything, but they've semi-teased it.
They can go the route of like you stole the Fireflies from us.
Right.
Like while we were gone. And now that we're back, we finally got them back. And we're going to make sure you can never get them back ever again. Something like that.
But with all of that, a good episode of Monday Night Raw. And you know what we thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Raw. The poll is live if you are watching on... Excuse me. The poll is live if you are watching on Twitch. I'm starting to lose my voice a little here. Let's go refresh all the other polls really fast. As far as the Threads poll does go, 80% like the show, 20% didn't like it. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 77% like the show, 18% thought it was just all right, and 4% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, pretty much the same. 77% like the show, 16% thought it was just all right, and 6% didn't like it. Some of the comments here, a bunch of hearts, love it, and awesome episode. Looking at the live poll, 87% liked the show, 13% thought it was just all right, and finally, everybody that voted on Twitch liked the show. With that, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. But Luke, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter X at Petke_21. And you can also find me over at Twitch at Young Grasshopper Luke.
So with that, guys, have a great rest of your week, and we'll be back here Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Have a good one, guys.